What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy D, and this is gonna be a sit-down video, you guys. I am literally sitting down at a random residential area before I go to my final destination. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to let you guys know why I've been absent from basically all social media. I know that I've been posting a little bit on Instagram or whatnot, but on YouTube, I literally have not posted in a little bit over 2 weeks. And a lot of you guys have messaged me, have DM'd me, have, you know, just hit me up on private and just asked if I was okay. I know that my sister posted a few videos because obviously what we're going through, it's something within our family, and a lot of you guys thought that something was wrong with me, and thankfully, physically speaking, there's nothing wrong with me except that I have a little cold. And I think this cold is coming from all of the stress and all of the emotional things that I have been experiencing. So gracias a Dios, I'm okay. Thank you guys so very much for asking, and thank you guys so very much for, you know, just keeping us in our prayers. I didn't even have the words. I didn't have it in me to say, to do, to ask for anything from anybody because I have just been a wreck for the past 12 days. Today is Thursday, and today marks 2 full weeks that my dad was in the hospital. Well, not last, but 2 Wednesdays ago, I happened to want to see where my dad was. So for those of you guys that don't really know, my dad actually travels for work. My dad and I have a really good relationship with each other, and I had, you know, messaged him a couple of days before that, and I had been going through my own internal struggles of different things that I have been going through in my personal life. And, you know, I had texted him and se me había ido that he didn't answer. So that specific Wednesday, I was like, oh shit, like I never heard back from my dad. Let me see. I checked the text message thread, and my dad has read receipts and he hadn't read it. And I was like, that's freaking weird. And I literally pulled up, dad and I share locations with each other. So I check his location, and automatically I saw that he was at a hospital. So I was like, fuck, there's something wrong. I called him and he was able to answer, and since he was able to answer, I could hear machines, but he wasn't talking. So I was like, what is wrong? Right away, I FaceTimed him, and once I FaceTimed him, I was able to see that he was legitimately at the hospital. Now, I won't get into any specifics as to what was wrong or what is wrong or what my dad is going through when it comes to his actual medical diagnosis, because I feel like that's private information, and I'm sure he wouldn't want that shared with anybody. And, you know, I feel like right now it's just a matter of being there for him and supporting him in all the ways that I can and I know how. So I'm opening this forum up to share with you guys where I've been and what has been going on in my life, because as you know, I'm always honest with you guys, and when I'm ready to speak on certain things, and I'm more than happy to, you know, share what's been going on. But I do ask that you guys respect regarding his actual medical diagnosis or what may be wrong with him, because that's really sensitive, and it's something that we're all trying to process and going through at this moment. So going back to what happened, I basically saw him on FaceTime and I freaked out, you know, like he answered, but I was like, what the heck is going on? The doctor, like I spoke to the doctor through FaceTime. Like there was so much happening in that moment, and I was at work. This was about like 9 o'clock in the morning, and you know, like I hung up with the doctors and I hung up with my dad, and right away, like I texted my sister. Well, I called my sister because I wanted to make sure that she was at a safe place. You know, anytime that you get any sort of news, not everybody handles it and not everybody knows how to respond exactly. You know, like we all have a fight or flight mode and we don't all respond in the safest way. And so I wanted to make sure that she was sitting. I wanted to make sure she was safe. I wanted to make sure she wasn't driving somewhere. So I called her, she didn't answer, and I texted her, you know, and like within 5 minutes she answers me, and I was able to just talk to her. And this was literally, you guys, like a life and death situation, you know, like this was nothing to play with. And so I'm freaking out at work, I'm crying. And something that I do want to mention is that I am a very responsible person when it comes to my job and when it comes to making sure that things are taken care of even when I'm not going to be there. And it was very refreshing to feel backed up by the company that I work for, or by the people that I work for at the time, to be like, go take care of your dad, go take care of whatever you need to take care of, and we'll see you when you come back. No time frame, no nothing. That felt great, you know. At that moment, I was like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. Stacy and I booked the flight. We flew out there. We had a return date, but obviously, like, we really thought that that was the end, you know. Like, we really thought that that was the end, and we just didn't know, obviously, like how long it was gonna take. Everything was just so up in the air. My emotions, you guys, my emotional well-being, I was a wreck. I was crying every day. I was trying to figure out, of course, you guys know that my rock for everything is God, you know, and I know that God has my back, and I understand that we all live and we die, and I understand that everybody's cycle is different and a different amount of time. And you know, I wasn't questioning that. I was very at peace with what was happening, but still sad, you know, like still the feelings of sadness were within me. And obviously when you're going through that situation, you know, there's so many decisions that have to be made. There's so many things that are happening. People started asking, you know, if what was wrong, if there was something wrong. Family members started asking because of a post that my sister, you know, was asking for prayers and stuff. And thankfully, like, Stacy and I are so good with our communication that if there's something specific that we don't want to share, like, we're both on the same page, especially when there's such huge decisions having to be made. And so we didn't like tell anybody what was happening or anything like that. But the past 2 weeks, you guys, have been so much. I do want to mention, and I do want to share, that as of today, right now, my dad is back in California. We were able to drive him back in his van to, like, back home. He is doing okay. He is alive and well, and I'm happy for that, regardless of, you know, everything that we literally just went through that felt like a movie, that felt like it didn't happen, that felt like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know, I mentioned that we had a return date. At some point, I was like, I cannot leave my dad here. Like, my dad has nobody to be here with, that I feel like, no, you know, like, if my dad is gonna die tomorrow, like, I don't want to go back home, and I don't want, like, I don't know. I didn't feel like, you're all the way at the other part of the States, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like we had anybody that could take care of my dad over there. And I obviously didn't want to leave him just somewhere for him to die on his own, like, you know, especially if we didn't know what was happening. And then to me, I was like, all right, God, like, if you haven't taken him, like, we're here for a reason, you know? At some point, you guys, work started hitting me up, and they like basically started to mess around with my time. And at time, like, at work, I accrue annual leave and I accrue sick leave, and so I'm able to use sick leave obviously whenever I'm sick, whenever I have emergencies. But I'm somebody that never calls off of work. I'm somebody that, you know, it's really rare if I don't go to work, especially because I like the primary people that I work for. But then above that, you know, people start to get in their heads and people start to get into different things, and I'm like, you know what, like, if who I'm a good worker and I'm always here and I always do my best and I always go above and beyond to help you, if you're acting like this and you don't care as to, you know, what's happening, and you know exactly what's happening because I personally spoke with you, then all right, like, you know, that's when in these moments, it's when you learn that work doesn't matter, that your family comes first, and that's who you should care for no matter what. Especially for those of us who believe in a greater power, you know, like I really believe that God is going to provide in every and any way that I need him to provide. I was like, you know what, work, like, if this is how you want to be and this is how you want to act, like, you are the least of my worries right now, because my father is in the ICU dying. You know what I mean? Like, I do not care, like, about anything, because God will take care of it, you know? And obviously while I was over there, you guys, like, I wasn't working, I wasn't making content, I wasn't doing any of that. And, you know, I'm spending money on hotels, I'm spending money on the trip. It cost us almost $800 to fly all the way to Alabama. And Alabama, if there's any of you guys that are from Alabama, like, hello, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to you guys. I love the hospitality when it came to how you guys treated us and treat people overall. That was great. But almost $800 to fly to Alabama, you guys, it was ridiculous. Yeah, there was a lot going on. But to not make this video super long, I just want to thank you guys. Like, I just want to be here to thank you guys for asking, you know, how everything was going. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for your prayers, for your well wishes. Like we said, we had to prolong the flight, and even after the fact, we ended up not flying back to LA. We ended up driving my dad's truck. My boyfriend and Stacy's fiance, Denny, came over to Alabama, and they flew out there to help us drive all 5 of us back home. And thankfully that van, that's my dad's like precious item, you know, or precious possession, he had built, because he travels for work, he had built that van with a bed. He had built the van with all kinds of stuff, and you know, it was equipped to be able to drive it all the way back home. So now my dad is here in LA. You know, right now he's doing well, and I think that's what matters. And you know, there's so many things that I've realized, and you guys know that I recently went through my grandma passing, and I just feel like, you know, the more intense stuff you go through, the bigger the blessing that God has in the other side. And it's not always something that I actually look at, because especially when I'm in the mud, especially when I'm in the dirt, going and feeling and just going through all these things, I don't necessarily feel the brightest. I don't feel like making content. I don't feel creative. I don't feel like I want to talk to anybody. But you guys are always here, and I appreciate that. I will be going back to work soon. I will be going back to work probably next Monday, si Dios quiere, and everything, you know, works how it's supposed to work. But yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I can tell you guys from this whole experience, is check on your people. You know, especially when people are not responding, because I feel like had I not had my dad's location, I wouldn't have known where he was at. Had I not tried hitting him up, like, I wouldn't have known what was wrong. Like, check on your people, even if you're not close to them, you guys. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I have heard from others, like, my parent passed and I was mad at them. Like, this person passed and I was mad at them. The sun started bugging, but I cannot express enough. Like, forgive, have compassion for others, and know that when it comes to you losing the people that you love, the people that you come from, the people that you had at one point or another, like, you would have wished that you would have forgave your person. You know what I mean? Whoever that is. And forgiveness heals us. It's not for others. It's for ourselves. It's for us to move forward. It's for us to live okay with ourselves and to heal, you know? I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. And hopefully on the next video, I will see you guys with something fun, because I feel like I need some rest, but also something fun in my life. All right, you guys, thank you. Until the next one. Peace.